Miniature Landscape Hobbies is proudly supported by these sponsors. Hi, Joe Saunders from Miniature Landscape Hobbies here. Just here with a quick unboxing. I just got a new box in the mail from Battlefront Miniatures, and this is some more parts for my Axis and Soviet forces for the Berlin book series. So I'm pretty excited to get this. It's not a huge order, 2.88 pounds, but it's full of some essentials. So we're going to open it up and take a look. But first, I've got to say something. Usually, shipping from these guys is really prompt, but this was a few days late. I thought that was a little strange, but then when I got the box and I flipped it over, I found out why. Opened by the Canadian Border Services Agency. So I guess the CBSA thought that something was amiss with this shipment, and they went in and took a look at what was inside. I imagine they felt pretty silly after they searched through and looked at a whole bunch of toy soldiers. But, anyways, that was their decision, keeping the borders safe, I guess. So, let's get into it and see what we've got. Okay, let's take a look what's in here. Oh, some good stuff. Take it down. First up are the Berlin Soviet cards. That's pretty good. So this allows me to organize my forces. And if you are a fan of Flames of War and you've been pulling your unit statistics just out of the book or online off of one of the army builders, I suggest that you get the unit cards because these really do make the game that much better. And being a a deck of Soviet unit cards, it's pretty big, 71 units, and that's normal for the Soviet armies. There's always a lot of variety. Behind that, we have the Soviet command cards for Berlin Soviet, and there are 35 in here. So if you, again, if you like Flames of War and you don't use command cards, I really suggest you try it out. It really enhances your game with a lot of new variety. All right, so those go hand in hand and will work well together. Next is, unsurprisingly, the Berlin German unit cards. So same story, lots of unit cards to help me get my Berlin Germans on the board quicker. And like everything else in the Berlin book for the Germans, the units that are in here represent sort of the desperate nature of things for the Axis. So generally you'll find that the troops are of a more mediocre quality. And you get some of the really high-end Axis vehicles, such as the Tiger II, but you also find some fairly well, let's say just modest weapons that have been improvised and reflect the desperate nature of the final days of the Axis. Now, I'm just thinking here, this is really heavy. Yeah, it's got 104 unit cards in it. That's huge. I don't know if there's a unit card collection that large anywhere else. Usually the Soviet ones are just massive, but look at that. It's probably about 25% more cards. Well, we can say, yeah. That is a lot of cards, a lot of choices to choose from. So that'll be quite fun to search through and design some cool army units. And here is the Berlin command cards. So just exactly the same as the Soviets, but in this case for the Germans. 52 cards, giving a pretty interesting mix of new unit types and options for my Berlin Germans. Next here is ZSU M17 anti-aircraft platoon. So that is, let me see if I get the glare off the box. That is anti-aircraft half-tracks with quad 50 caliber mounts, but as Lend-Lease for the Soviets. So I believe the Americans called those meat choppers. So there'll be a lot of firepower there. I'm sure when this unit is up and running, I'll be rolling a lot of dice all at once. And these are your fairly regular kit for Battlefront, all plastic, well designed, and straightforward to build. So I'll be working on those in the immediate future. I'm actually in a bit of a Soviet building frenzy right now. I'm also doing a lot of Soviets for Team Yankee. I've got hopefully a whole T-55 company waiting, or should I say battalion, waiting on my table to be done here. So after that, one more thing in here. As I was saying, one of the things that you get with Berlin, Germany is some of the more modest types of troops. So Axis players are usually used to high quality, well equipped, and very expensive infantry. But this marks a pretty distinct change in that for the Axis player. And now we've got some rather simplistic and cheap units in here in the form of, well, old men and young children manning the weapons to defend Berlin itself. Now, I just want to take a look at these. I believe this is an older kit. Yes. And in here, we see a lot of the older metal pieces. But there's something in here that's kind of caught my eye. Let me just see if I can get it out.
Where was it?
There it is. A soldier with a bicycle. That's pretty neat. That'll be a lot of fun to paint. I have never seen a model like that. So he's got a bicycle and, oh, he's got a little Panzerfaust. All right, so that'll be fun to go to town on when I get around to working on these, which hopefully will be sooner rather than later. But, you know, every gamer is in search of more hobby time, and so am I. All right, so that covers everything that's in this box. Not a terribly large order, but some very essential stuff in there. And we will be getting down to work on it in the fairly near future. Great unit cards, great models, and quite a few more options for my Flames of War late war armies. We'll be covering these products in some painting tutorials, and we'll also be back with some terrain builds in the fairly near future. Keep an eye out, and I'll see you then. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank my Patreon supporters. Without their assistance, miniature landscape hobbies would not be possible. If you would like to learn more about the benefits of becoming a Patreon supporter, please check the link in the video description. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Please remember to subscribe, press the bell button so you get immediate notification on our videos, and until next time, remember to keep building life in miniature.